everybody, today's video discusses a fly tying system for dry flies that I came up with, and it's something that's worked very well for me. So in the beginning I discussed the system, and then I'll take you through 3 patterns that will get you a way of tying mayflies, stoneflies, and caddis flies to match any hatch you're going to come up with. So if you stick with me to the end of the video, you'll see how I do these patterns, and you should be able to apply all of this on your own. When you think about the traditional dry flies, most of them have the wing coming about 90 degrees off of the hook. But when you look at actual insects like mayflies, caddisflies, and stoneflies, they're not built that way. A mayfly's wing is coming off somewhere between 45 and 60 degrees from their body, so they're coming back at an angle. Caddisflies are even tighter down to their body. They're maybe coming off at like 10 to 20 degrees, and stoneflies, their wings sit flat to the body. So I already talked about in another video about my portable fly tying gear and how I use it. And it was part of how I came up with what we're going to talk about now is a dry fly system. I wanted to be able to go anywhere and be able to match the hatch, which can be tough if you think about all the materials and everything you got to bring. So I simplified the materials and came up with dry fly patterns based on how the insects actually look. So for example, a mayfly, if we look at it, that's about the way the wing of a mayfly goes. So this one is tied for a specific hatch, but this is the way I make the wing. I use that same angle. The flies are tied pretty simply. I use microfibrettes for the tail. I use Zelon or CDC puffs for the wing, and from there I go to a basic dub body, and I put the hackle ahead of the wing on the mayfly and just clip it off so it's about even with the hook point. It's a simple fly to make. It works very well. I've used it for the last year and a half or so, and I'm doing well catching trout. In some instances with really pressured fish, like down on the beaver kill, I think I'm doing a little bit better than I would be doing with the traditional flies or going down to a fly shop and buying the flies, because what I'm throwing is a little bit different. It's a little bit simpler and a little bit more precise in some ways on the angles of the wing. So the basic fly, I can tie a dun, I can tie a spinner, and so here's an emerger for a sulfur, and it's just basically doubling that Zelon wing back. This is the done version, and got a spinner version of the same fly. So you end up with, you know, no matter what's hatching, like, okay, we got tricos. There's a trico. Very easy to make one. It also works well on caddis. So last year I got into some tan caddis. Here's the tan caddis, and it has a palmered hackle that comes up the body and just a tan wing, and I leave the CDC puff on the end so it's like a head. That works just as well as any caddis imitation that I was throwing. The same thing applies for stoneflies, even big stoneflies. I got into one situation last year where big golden stones were coming off. I use Zelon for the wing, and kind of the same way as the caddis. I make the body a little beefier, but I just palmer a real short hackle up the body, and I leave the wing so it gets cut off at the top so I have a head part. That fly works really well. I also last year got into something I never got into before, because I don't think we have a lot of them around here. Got into a yellow Sally stonefly hatch, and just basically coming up with a simple yellow Sally. I caught a lot of wild trout in Pennsylvania with this type of fly. So I call them the general admission. Lay down a basic thread. Go with microfibrettes for the tail. Okay. So get Get those tied in. And get some wax. And we got a cream dubbing. Nice cream rabbit fur dubbing. I like rabbit fur dubbing. Get that all twisted on. Pinch more. And you can just pop the little guard hairs out. So for the wing, we got a wood duck colored or a light tan CDC. So we just need one of those. And last, got a cream hackle. And we'll get that trimmed up. Just build up a small head and whip finish. And just a quick drop of head cement. And we got a light Cahill. This is a good fly, especially in the Catskills. I've had good luck with it. And that's the light Cahill. Got kind of a light tan thread. We've got a tan hackle. I'm going to tie in from the tip section. Got my buddy the pug here, so if you hear some nasally breathing, it's not me. Okay, so we got that all bound in. And a nice thread base. I'm going to use a light olive colored dubbing. Get some of that on there. And we'll start our body. Okay, pardon me while I let the pug out. Out. Just get another pinch. Okay. Hackle coming forward. I should usually do about 3 swipes of the hackle. Piece of white Zealand for the wing. Okay. And whip finish. These I flip upside down to do the glue. Okay. Now, Granum has kind of a mottled brown wing. So to get that, we're just going to bring in a brown marker. And we're just going to dye some barred strips into it. And a little bit on the head. I'm going to use a brown hackle. So I'm just going to pull the fibers back by the tip. And we'll get that tied in. bind that down. Some wax. Got a light tan dubbing, and kind of a medium tan dubbing. Get that in. Bring our hackle forward. For our wing, got a piece of white Zelon. Just trim that in the front. Whip finish. These, I turn them over to do the glue. And so a little brown stone has a brown wing, and I'm going to take a I'm going to take a brown marker and make kind of light and dark bars in the wing, so it gets kind of a mottled look. We'll get the head, put some dots in there, and that's it. Little brown stone. That's it. That's the system that I use, and actually I'm getting ready to head out and do some technical dry fly fishing. Probably will be getting into isonychias, so I'll be using slate grays with this system, and I've done it before and done very well on the stream that I'm going to. I appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe the video and the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.